What up, guys? We're doing some communication trying to get everything set up here for Stoltzy to get his ass out to Spokane. Oh, my phone's in my pocket. There it is. Word, guys. Glad to see you guys. Many of you guys back again from our earlier stream. The Auburn Tigers, as I was getting the show ready, were announced to have gotten the number 4 seed in the East Regional. They're going to start things in Spokane, Washington. And those of you who follow this are on the brain train with me a bunch know that I'm a San Diego State fan, kind of closeted because I grew up in San Diego. And they're going to, in all likelihood, Auburn's going to face San Diego State in the second round. Obviously, you know, I know where my bread's buttered and all that, but that would be a very interesting matchup for me personally. Jaden Ledee is a very bad man, and so is Janai Broom, honestly, two of the best statistical players in the entire country, so that would be an amazing showdown. However, before we even get to that, Auburn is going to face off against the Yale Bulldogs, a team that won their league, I believe, with the last-second shot today or whatever. It was kind of a shocking turn of events. I believe they beat Brown in that tournament. They used to not have tournaments in that league, but they do now, which is probably smart. Crocky Poo says Yale about to get an education. I love it. I like that. And Jesse says Yale is a very good basketball team. Interesting. All right, we'll take a look at that and more as we move on. Back where we were when we left you last time, we had the green and gold upstairs there for St. Patty's Day. We have the score from Auburn's win in the SEC tournament final. And it turns out, despite all the things that I had talked about with you guys on the show, that it feels like Auburn's run through Nashville meant nothing. If they had lost that first game against South Carolina, they probably would have been a 4. And the fact that they won 3 in a row, they're still a 4. So, I don't know. Smash Riggin says, as a Dartmouth grad, F Yale. We'll give you an applause on that one. Where is our sound, guys? Thank you. Jeez Louise, man. I don't know why everything's so messed up around here. Chris M. Jumps in with a super chat. Not the first super chat from this family tonight. Or today, I should say. Are y'all complaining? All y'all complaining can stuff it. We in the dance and Auburn in the dance isn't afraid of anything. Add UConn to the list of alleged blue bloods in our wall, like Kansas, UK, and UNC, LFG. I love the attitude right there. This is what Chris M is saying to all the blue bloods out there.
And I ain't going to let some smart-ass kid get on this phone and create this stuff. So if you got a problem with that, I don't care, all right?
That's what Chris M's having to say. Sounds like some folks are not happy with the way this thing has shaken out so far. Again, I need to get I don't have an intern to screenshot shit for me, but I need to get a shot of this bracket so we can kind of talk about things. God dang it. It's really hard. This is where I really wish I had a producer. One time in my life. It would be amazing. God bless, this is frustrating. Okay. Just getting this little thing set up. It's interesting that Auburn's going to have to potentially do damage with UAB as well. Another potential situation. Andy Kennedy, the outstanding coach at UAB, was able to get his Blazers into the NCAA tournament by winning their league today. And this is basically what we're looking at here. Those games are going to be on Friday in Spokane, Washington. We're working right now to get Stoltzy on a plane out there to Spokane and get him going like that. Solo Tigre says, like an administrative assistant, question mark. Courtney's doing a lot. Courtney, as I told you guys in the afternoon show, she did yeoman's work today, working with my mom and getting that all done. Still brought me food and still is working on the plane ticket for Stoltzy. So she's having a great day from a performance perspective. Not one single complaint from me, Courtney.
Well, thanks.
I'll be giving you a raise one of these days for reals. Okay, so the rest of that bracket, well, we got these 4 right here. And folks are already talking about how Yale is a team you got to keep an eye on. If Auburn is to make it out of this particular pod, they're going to face off against either Northwestern, FAU, UConn, or Stetson. I can probably pull that, probably get that done too. UConn, obviously a team you don't really want to be messing with right now, but UConn may feel the same way about Auburn. And that could be an interesting face-off because Stephon Castle, who I got to know when he performed at an Auburn camp a couple years ago, is now their star freshman, and they have some real players there as well. UConn, of course, one of the truly, truly excellent teams from start to finish this season. Auburn, Yale, and then you've got probably San Diego State, although UAB is certainly capable of that upset. San Diego State lost their conference tournament final against the New Mexico Lobos. And then if you have a chance to get up past that, then you're going to probably be taking on UConn for a trip to the Final Four. No, you would. I guess you'd still have to. No, that would get you to the Elite Eight, wouldn't it? Get you to an opportunity to play. And on the bottom half of this bracket, you're looking at Illinois and Iowa State. So, yikes. Let's see. Some people were saying that Florida got screwed. Florida got a 7 seed, taking on Boise State or Colorado. They're going to be playing a play-in game in Indianapolis. And they're going to be taking on, if they win that game, they're going to be taking on Marquette with Tyler Kolek, who's back now after picking up an injury. He leads the country in assists per game, and he's a player. Marquette's pretty good. Shaka Smart, his best team that he's had with Marquette. Probably his best team since VCU, honestly. Kentucky Wildcats taking on Oakland and not the Raiders. And they're probably going to be facing off with Texas Tech or NC State in Pittsburgh. Interesting. Houston, the number 1 seed in the South region. The hated Duke Blue Devils in that region as well. You wish Auburn could have gotten in there. But anyway, I'm kind of with something that number 19 said earlier, that at this point, Auburn is a major element nationally, okay, if we're going to be real about it. And you can't be ducking. This ain't the time to be ducking. It's time to put up or shut up, and this is definitely a bracket for putting up and not shutting up. This is for CBM to get his due and run his mouth and get it done. Brad says, our bracket has the SEC, Big East, Big 10, Big 12 tournament champions. Wow, that is true. Illinois, Auburn, Iowa State, and a UConn. So this is definitely going to be the group of death if this was soccer. A lot of really good teams out there in the weeds ready to pounce. But Auburn, guys, remember now, you've got to change this attitude where Auburn is a team that you want to try to get the easiest draw. Auburn's greatest moment in NCAA tournament history came with the most gnarly draw in 2019 when they had to get through Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas all in one fell swoop, and they did that. And I strongly suspect that Auburn's going to be up to this task too. I'm not predicting anything, but you can't be living your life scared of Iowa State and UConn. Auburn is at that level now. Auburn is at that level right now, and I don't think you can be scared about it. One man's opinion. So they're going to fly out to probably work out tomorrow light. They'll run some stuff at practice on Tuesday, but they'll still work out light. And then Wednesday they'll probably do like an early practice where they just do walkthroughs. If they do any practice, it'll be Tuesday, like real practice. Do some walkthroughs and then leave probably at noon on Wednesday, fly out to Spokane and just start getting acclimated and ready for that. They'll do press conferences on Thursday, and then they'll play on Friday, which is what will go down. CDF makes a great point. Thank you for the super chat, number 19 again, sir. CDF, who had 2 super chats in the early window for our show, says Auburn finishes 4th in the nation and Ken Palm wins the SEC tournament and gets a 1 seed versus the number 1 overall. Gets a 4 seed, I see what you're saying. Against number 1 overall UConn. That's impossible to justify. Bruce Pearl and the Tigers got screwed with this seeding. And what? So did UK get a 3 seed? Yeah, my friend JB, DC Elite, says UK got a 3 seed, guys. Somebody figure that out for me. Auburn finished tied with them in the SEC and then won the tournament when UK got knocked out in the first round. And somehow Kentucky ends up with a better seed than Auburn. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Justin says, when will they announce game time? Well, yeah, I don't know. That could be later, a little bit later in the week. That could be like Tuesday. Think about this. So if they're in the West Coast, that means they're definitely not going to be playing before about 4 o'clock our time. It could be, though. Could be 4 o'clock. I don't know yet. Usually takes a little while. CBS wants to definitely get their hands on, these matchups and try to figure out what has the best allure from a national perspective and put those at 7 o'clock Eastern time zone, 6 o'clock Central time zone. Jesse, you're good, brother. He says sometimes he just gets a little carried away. I totally understand what you're talking about there, G. For sure. Let me bounce back over here and take another look at this bracket right here. This is, of course, the winner of this group of 8 goes to the Elite 8 to face most likely Illinois or Iowa State at the bottom half of this particular region. It's a tough draw for Auburn. UAB's been playing great basketball. San Diego State is generally playing pretty good basketball. Lost their conference tournament to New Mexico, but whatever. FAU is one of those teams that was a darling last year, up and down this year for sure. Did have a win against Arizona, so that's a good one for FAU. And, of course, KT Harrell, the former Montgomery legend and also Auburn legend, is a coach there at FAU. And then UConn, the hated Stetson Hatters there in the first round. You think UConn's going to face off against FAU and Northwestern. And then it would be on to the Auburn Tigers. Again, UConn, very, very good. Defending national champions. Danny Hurley, really one of the great coaches that has come up here in the last few years and asserted himself as one of the great ones. And Stefan Castle, it came down to Auburn and UConn for him. Ended up going to UConn, a player that I really liked. And the Auburn staff, I'll take it far to say, they really liked him as well. Let's tell you what, we're going to get Crocky Poo on the hone here before too long, but I do want to try to take a real quick gander at the Yale Bulldogs before we get too far down this road and just kind of see what this team looks like. They only had to play two games in their Ivy League tournament. Man, that's pretty easy. Okay. I mean, if that's what you're really into, I guess. You only got to play 2. All right, I pull in their scouting report over right now. And we'll take a gander at that bad boy. Let me go to the bracket page, kill the bracket, because we are done with that bracket now. And then we'll put up, this is Yale's scouting report from Ken Palm. Now, sometimes these are pretty tricky because they're playing such kind of weak. I mean, they're playing in the Ivy League, so it's a little bit different, it's fair to say, than what the SEC is or the Big 12 is this year. Looks like they're a pretty balanced team, 89 offense, 90 defense. Adjusted tempo is 327, so there's a team that does not move fast. I'm sure that's going to be a number that Auburn's already salivating over, an opportunity to kind of run this team out. Let's see, on offense, their turnover percentage is 14.1, so they take care of the ball. This is probably a guard-oriented type team. 3-point shooting, they're pretty good. 2-point shooting, they're good. Free throw shooting is pretty bad. Defensively, they look just kind of okay. Steal percentage on defense is low. Non-steal turnover percentage is low. Interesting. Not a ton of D1 experience. Bench minutes among the lowest in the country. They're kind of tall, though. Average height is 36th. Very interesting. Looks like their big star is their center, Danny Wolf. We'll take a look at that as well. Get these pulled over here real quick. So here's a basic look at what Yale brings when they take the floor day to day. Oopsie. Kind of missed that a little bit. Man, that's a big-ass graphic, isn't it? Kind of hard to see. Their star is their center, Danny Wolf, 7 feet tall, sophomore. Interesting. 347 3-point percentage. Not too bad for a guy that big. 525. I probably would have expected that to be higher from 2-point range. Decent free throw shooter. Blocks a lot of shots. I would have thought it would be higher in his league. Looks like he's a really good defensive rebounder. Interesting. Okay. So none of these top 5 players is a big-time 3-point shooter. This John Pula, 38% ain't bad at all, but the other guys not really as much. A256 said, just hopped on and saw our draw. Did we get screwed? Auburn being a 4 just proves the tournament only matters for an AQ. It does seem that way, bro. I don't feel like they got any respect or they got nothing for winning the tournament, for playing well in Nashville. I think a 4 is what they would have had if they'd lost the first game, and then they win it all and they get a 4. I think it's a tough draw. They got Yale in the first round, potentially UAB or San Diego State in the second round, and then third round would be UConn. Tim the Toolman Taylor says, do we stand a chance against UConn? I mean, I would say yes. This Auburn team is playing at its highest level of the season. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Got some power, got some shooting, got generally pretty good ball handling. And defensively, they've shown that they can defend different kinds of teams. So, yeah, I think Auburn's got a shot in that game. I think it's going to be a matchup similar to the one with Houston last year. A game that Auburn lost, but Auburn, I like this team better than last year's team. And I don't necessarily think that UConn's a lot better than Houston was last year. So, there you go. Did South Carolina get a nice draw? Let's see, they got Oregon in the first round. It's not very good, but they got to face off the fighting Trey Alexanders in the second round. I don't know. Creighton's pretty good, man. They're going to give South Carolina all they want. Any other SEC teams here? Purdue's got the fighting Cristianos. Montana State, potentially, if they beat Grambling State. And then Utah, TCU, Gonzaga, and McNeese. McNeese, of course, that's the Will Wade team. 30-3. He's done a hell of a job. He's a good coach. He's a douche, but he's got a good coach. And then Kansas and Samford. AU Taxman, I know, is fired up for that one. He's got the Bulldogs winning by 10. For sure. Also, Mobile Alum jumped in with a super chat while I was babbling about these teams. JG, I think we have a pretty easy path of the Sweet 16. Where we'll probably play UConn in the Sweet 16. If we beat them, do you see us getting to the Final Four, bro? If they beat UConn, I see Auburn winning the title. Because if you're going to beat UConn, you're playing at a level that not many other teams are. So I richly look forward to the opportunity to see Auburn play UConn. That would be amazing, and we will stream that all day long. And Hornation says tournament draw screwed UConn. I wonder what UConn fans are thinking right now. Mobile Alum says Tennessee is a 2. That was what the thought was initially. And, yeah, you see him right there with a 2 against St. Peter's in the first round. Of course, St. Peter's, I think, beat UK. Was it a couple years ago? I think it was. Maybe last year. I can't remember. The years get away from me. But it just goes to show you Crocky Poo was right. He said all along, I don't think that Auburn's playing well in Nashville really matters. It certainly matters for the Auburn Tigers to be able to hang a SEC Tournament championship banner and to go into the NCAA Tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country, and to know that you beat 3 different teams with 3 different styles of play and you adapted to each one and kind of beat that ass, that's a big plus. But Tennessee lost in the first round and maintained their 2 seed. Auburn won the whole damn thing and held on to the 4 that they probably would have had anyway. So, and then Kentucky gets a 3 seed, which is just like, what? I don't get it. But where it always happens like this, man. There's always stuff going on where you're like, how in the world can this happen or whatever? Kyle L. says, I'm doing colonoscopy prep. That's how pissed I am about this location. They totally took away our mobile jungle. Crocky, if you want to call in, brother, this will be a good time. Love to have you on to see what you think about these matchups. My G. There he is. Right as we say something. What's up, Crocky Poo? How you doing, brother? Glad to have you.
What's up, dude?
Hey, man.
Let me know.
What do you think?
I have a fan running in the background.
What
Can
now?
you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I have a fan running in the background. If you can hear it, let me know, and I'll turn it off or something.
All right. What do you think about this draw, man? People are kind of pissed about it.
Yeah. So one thing, I said it didn't. The SEC tournament didn't really matter, but that's more of a seeding thing, because I mean it matters for Auburn big time. I mean that's a banner, that's a ring, everything. And the other thing for filling out brackets, we're going to be one of the favorites for underdogs now, because it's on like 33 out of 37 of the last however many national championships had to have won a regular season title or a conference championship.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I mean that puts you in a dark horse race now for the bracket. So I mean, for the early matchup, do you want to go early or just the whole side of the bracket? How I feel about it?
Yeah, probably.
Do you
just
want
that.
like overall picture or like
Let's just kind of
narrow
work
it down
let's work our way out from where we started. All right.
All right. So Auburn, Yale.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a guy on Reddit that I use when filling out brackets. I've done it for 6 or 7 years. He's really good at identifying which teams will be upsets or could create upsets. Now, he'll list like 28 and he might get like 12 right, but they're usually inside his group. So when looking at 4 over 13 matchup, what's the main thing that you want for a 13 seed to pull off an upset is an imbalanced game. And it seems kind of counterintuitive, but you want like a good offense versus a weak defense on the 4th seed, if that makes sense. And that makes the game close.
Okay.
So I think, let's see, Vermont was one I didn't want. They're with Duke. Stanford, I think, is pretty good on offense. Aren't they like close to top 60?
I'm not sure.
I think
Jackson would know that.
I think they're someone Auburn doesn't want to play either.
Top 70, on offense.
I thought UAB would be a 13 seed, to be honest, but they snuck into the 12, which was, I mean, impressive for them. I think the other one might be Duquesne or College of Charleston, I think, is the other one I wanted to avoid. So I think we got the right opponent. Now, the other thing for 4 seeds, but he's got like the past 12 years, and he hasn't posted since last year. So, I mean, this is before last year's tournament. But 4 seeds, the ones that are vulnerable are the ones that have an offense or defense outside the top 40. So Auburn's safe there. I think Duke is right inside there. Kansas is vulnerable because their offense isn't that great.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing. I don't think they've done the other side of the bracket yet.
So Yale's got like 100 offense and 100 defense, something like that.
Yeah, so they're really balanced, and that's good for Auburn.
Yeah. Okay.
You want, so if a 13 seed is to pull off an upset, usually they're imbalanced. So really good defense, really good offense, something like that. I think all the other 13 seeds are dangerous. Charleston, Stanford, and
UAB, right? They get 13?
No, UAB's a 12. The other one hasn't been named yet.
Oh, yeah, they're about to pop it right now. It's going to be somebody in Spokane that Auburn doesn't have to mess with.
I don't have the bracket selection on my TV, so I'm using their webpage.
Whoever it is, Alabama's got.
Yeah.
Alabama got a 4 seed in Spokane. That's funny. Auburn and Alabama both in Spokane. It's Charleston, bro.
Yeah. Charleston is really, they might be the favorite to get an upset. Their offense is pretty good for where
You
they
hate
are.
to see that for Alabama have to deal with that, huh?
Yeah. Alabama and Kansas are the ones ripe for an upset. So the stat is 4 seeds with offense or defense outside the top 40. So that's Kansas and Alabama. And if a 13 seed has an offense or defense inside the top 50, those 13 seeds are 6 and 5 over the past 10 years, 10 or 11 years.
Now, I don't know about the next round. I'm assuming Auburn beats Yale. They got to face off against San Diego State or UAB.
Tim has Charleston offense at 58, so they're right outside. That's pretty close. That one might be tight.
Check this out, though. San Diego State's defense is 9, and their offense is 62. So
yeah.
They have a nasty look.
Seeds, who are all the 5 seeds?
I don't have the full bracket in front of me.
Okay, I'm looking. So you got Wisconsin, San Diego State, Gonzaga should not be a 5 seed. That's probably the best matchup we could have gotten. St. Mary's. Let's see.
Well, I don't like St. Mary's.
St. Mary's,
bro.
I think, is the worst. Yeah, St. Mary's would have been the worst. I think Gonzaga probably would have been the best, but they beat Kentucky at Kentucky, so they got a good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, San Diego State's coach is really good, but I think they're the lowest on KenPom out of the 5 seeds. San Diego State.
Interesting. All right, so maybe the draw isn't as bad as it initially looked then, right?
Yeah, I think our pod for Spokane is pretty favorable to Auburn. The one thing, okay, so here are 3 weaknesses I've seen in Auburn. Number 1 is free throw rate. So you got to see, are you playing a good free throw shooting team? Do they draw a lot of fouls? Because I don't think Auburn's going to fix that between now and this weekend.
All right.
You know. Number 2 is, do they pressure the guards? Do they turn over people on defense? Because I think when our guards get in trouble and they get under pressure, sometimes it can get out of hand. Today, we saw it a little bit, but it wasn't enough to affect the game. And that's where we really stepped up today. And then number 3, defensive rebounding. Lately, I think the past 10 games are something like 330th in defensive rebounding. So you do not want to go against a good offensive rebounding team against really good athletes. So, thinking at that from a 1 seed perspective, I'm really glad we didn't get Houston just from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I know they got blown out by Iowa State, but
they sure did.
Their style of basketball, it would be a rock fight, lots of free throws, lots of turnovers, and they are really, really good on the glass.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that.
And I think UConn might be, who's the other 1 seed? North Carolina. I think North Carolina would have been our best matchup. But UConn is 3rd out of those 4 teams in offensive rebounding. They don't draw a lot of fouls. They're 160th in the country. And they don't really turn you over. They're 232nd in the country. So from that perspective, I think it's a good matchup based on Auburn's weaknesses. Now, they shoot the lights out from 3, so they can get hot.
Yeah, I'm looking at their numbers right now.
That's the risk you gotta take.
Number 1 defensive team in the country.
Yep. Or number 1 offensive team in the country.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Number 1 offense, number 11 defense. And they've won, I don't know, I'm eyeballing it here, 20 of their last 21 games, something like that.
And the other thing, they're the number 1 overall seed, right?
Yeah.
I think they'll be number 1 in AP, right?
Yeah.
Comes tomorrow.
Yeah.
The number 1 overall seed has only won 3 times since 2004. They've only won the Natty 3 times in 2004. I think it's something like the past 10 times there's been a 1 seed knocked out, second round or, by the second round.
All
so,
right. Word.
From those, that could set up nicely for Auburn, but, if UConn gets hot, they're going to kill anybody. That's just how good they are.
Yeah. Hornatius wants to know why you stood him up at Nicky's.
I was waiting in that parking lot forever for him to show up, and he bailed.
What? Hornatius, what are you doing, bro? Jeez.
Awful.
Awful. I know. I just wonder if he's going to actually pull that out. You think that he's going to be a man of his word and then not,
It was me, Bob Mapplethorpe, and Boise Great.
Oh, my God. And he ditched all y'all?
That was an all-star lineup, and Hornatius bailed.
Disgusts me.
Mm-hmm.
JBDC Elite says the Big East only got 3 teams in. Does that say something about UConn? Were they the best team in a shitty conference?
I thought the Big East was really good this year. I've watched a good bit of them. I thought they were really good, and that's kind of sad. That's just there were so many bid stealers this year.
Yeah, there were a lot.
And that makes those 13 to 16 seeds, it makes them a lot weaker.
Hornatius said work stuff wrapped him up and prevented him from meeting you guys. Mm-hmm.
It's a bad excuse.
It is a bad excuse. It is. Well, Crocky, you've given us so much expertise. You sound like you're actually a Harvard graduate yourself with all this specific numbers and stuff, but we appreciate that, brother. Thanks for making time today. You're awesome.
It was no problem, Jay. Thanks for having me on.
See you, Crocky. Bye.
See ya.
There he is, Crocky Poo. He's our bracketologist here at auburnsports.com, and we love having him here. He was saying, again, number one overall seeds don't necessarily do super well in the tournament. They are the defending national champions, and they have the number one offense in the country. They have Tristan Newton, who's an absolute stud, and they have Stephon Castle, who is also an absolute stud. However, the Auburn Tigers have some absolute studs of their own, and there will be some work to be done to knock them out. So just remember now, when we're sitting around talking about this team and that team, blah, 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 that people are scared of Auburn too. Not necessarily scared, but you know what I mean. Much respect. Auburn has the look of a team that you do not want to mess with right now. I mean, they've been good all year, but they've been particularly good right now. Roxy Poo says, good job, Croc, and I agree completely. Appreciate him giving us some time and sharing his expertise. He's a guy who's really into the analytical side of sports, football and basketball. And, of course, we need him for basketball right now, and he definitely gave us some good stuff there. Thinks that the Yale matchup is is Auburn's best look among the 13s. And that in the 12-5 range, Auburn didn't necessarily face the toughest that they could have faced in the 5-12s. So that's good. And I think the lesson that I have learned from this particular selection is that conference tournaments don't really mean shit. They mean shit to Auburn. They mean shit to the teams that win. But from a seeding perspective, not much value there. Not much at all. Let's see if we can kind of do a surprise call on Staly and see what he thinks about this. I bet he's got opinions. He would be looking at Spokane and then Boston.
Yes, sir.
What's up, Staly? How you doing, bro?
I am doing great. I think BP and the rest of the coaching staff is a little angry right now.
About their draw?
Yeah.
The fact that their SEC championship didn't mean shit?
Exactly. Apparently it did not. Nor did the second place tie in the SEC.
Yeah, Kentucky had a higher seed. Yeah.
And what's the worst record? Yeah, it's fine. All right. They lost to Gonzaga. All right. I don't know. It's just bullshit. Looking forward to going to Spokane, though.
Yeah, and if they win there, you get to go to Boston, too.
Ooh. I do like Boston.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
But Spokane this time of year is wonderful.
I've heard that I might go to Coeur d'Alene during the off day.
Coeur d'Alene?
You know Coeur d'Alene? It's beautiful.
You mean Coeur d'Alene? Yeah.
Just across the border in Idaho. It's beautiful.
Could you spend some time maybe with Harsin and his family up there?
I would love to see Brian Harsin in Idaho. That would be amazing. Maybe I'll call him.
Oh, I'm sure he would answer.
Yeah.
All right, so the general consensus there where you're at with the team is that was not a cool seed.
I think they got screwed badly with that seed.
Yeah.
It's bogus. It shows you that the SEC tournament does not matter anymore. And it's ridiculous. I mean, Kentucky being the number 11 overall seed, I mean they're good. They had a good season, but come on. And then putting Auburn with the number one overall seed, I don't know. Maybe the committee hates. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how they justify that or come up with it, but yeah, I'm just going to guess that Bruce Pearl is not happy.
Okay, very good. Hey, the good news is that Courtney got you your flight for Wednesday, so we're good there.
Yes, I can't wait.
Ravin wants to know. Ravin was hoping we were going to bus you across the country.
Ooh.
But maybe
if
not.
I start driving now, I might make it there.
Yeah, no, it's a long way off.
Drive.
That's a long way off.
Spokane's a long way from here.
Yeah, you're going back to one of your almost old stomping grounds, right? Or near there.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Well, near there, Pullman. Yeah, maybe I'll have some friends come up and visit me from Pullman if they get a chance.
Be exciting.
Still have some friends there. I haven't seen them for a while. So, anyway.
Any thoughts about Auburn playing Yale, San Diego State, or UAB? What are your thoughts there?
San Diego State will be a hard game if UAB doesn't get it. I think San Diego State's the type of team that will be physical with Auburn. Will be physical with Auburn's guards. UAB, Alabama, and Auburn being in the same freaking spot in Spokane, Washington is just nuts. It's insane, and they're all playing on the same day. So I don't know what the NCAA tournament committee. But anyway, the good news is Auburn won an SEC tournament title in convincing fashion. It was loud as shit inside the state or inside the arena, but it was an amazing atmosphere. When Florida cut it to 1, got a little, I think Auburn fans tensed up a little bit, but who came through again? Chris Moore with a steal and layup, and Auburn didn't look back from there. And Dylan Carwell with the Steeler with the dunk was awesome. And this team is, I think, peaking at the right time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Which player impressed you the most in this tournament run? I mean, obviously, Janai was playing great. Anybody else jump out? I
mean, you have to go with Chris Moore. I mean, he's taken his role as this role player, and he's done it well. I mean, Deborah Jones has been good. Chad Baker-Mazar has been great, and also the two guards. The two guards did not back down. Aiden had a kind of a bad game yesterday, but Trey stepped up for him, and then today, Aiden made some big threes in the second half, and but I have to go with Chris Moore because people overlook him, but he's the voice of this team and the leader of this team and the heart of this team, and so I think that's who I would go with.
Word, okay. Hey, the Bam Bams are going to be playing in Spokane too. Did you know that?
I just said that.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, they're trying to start a war in Eastern Washington, I guess.
And UAB too.
Yeah, and UAB.
Yeah, you're right. All right, well, we're gonna get you back here, and we'll do some partying or hanging out or something before we get you sent off.
I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, brother. Appreciate your effort up there, man.
Absolutely.
See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
There he is, Stoltze. I didn't change his name until we were about 3/4 of the way through the interview. Sorry about that, Crocky Poo. I wasn't trying to give you credit for that or discredit for that. Melee says UConn lost to the Hall, a.k.a. Seton Hall, and Creighton earlier in this year. They ain't perfect. No, nobody's perfect, brother. Ain't nobody perfect, except for Alexandra Daddario. But she's not in the tournament, so you don't have to worry about her as much. JBDC Elite correctly points out that the computers love Auburn, may have been dinged by the net, 3-7 in quad 1 games. That's true. There are some teams out there that have 10, 11 quad 1 wins. Auburn has 3. And that probably hurt them a little bit, but God bless y'all. I mean, I feel like Auburn's done. Obviously, I've been making this point for 2 full days. I feel like Auburn's done enough to get a higher seed, but that's it is what it is, and that's what you got to do. We are now going to slide over, assuming that I can find his number on here, talk to Dr. Henry. We haven't had him on the show since September 23rd. So we're going to give him a call right now and get up with Henry. He was up in Nashville, and we haven't had him on the show here in a minute. Let's see what he's up to.
What's up?
What up, Henri?
I cannot believe they got Spokane, but...
What'd you say?
I cannot believe they got Spokane after all that.
Yeah, that really, this whole run in Nashville really hasn't amounted to much for them, right?
I mean, I think we've had this theory for a while, I think, college basketball fans, and I think it's confirmed. Conference tournaments they just kind of don't mean anything anymore because coming into this, Auburn was widely projected as a 4 seed. And then you get to where we're at the team hotel right now.
Yeah.
You come into this and they're still ranked as the number 15 team. So it's like they didn't move up at all despite picking up 2 quad 1 wins.
15 is crazy, dude. It's crazy.
It's nuts. And especially for a team that has the metrics that Auburn has, they're top 5, Ken Palm, I think number 5 in net. I mean, they've been top 6 in all these metrics. And I know that's not the end all be all, but to be the second lowest 4 seed gets into Spokane, they got a screw job.
Yeah. Well, Crocky Poo's been picking this for a couple of days now, so.
Yeah, and there is a part of me that always kind of felt like this was inevitable, especially since they did get sent to Birmingham last year, despite being the 8th seed, and they got to play Houston and have pretty much a home game. So, it did kind of even out, and I mean, the region they're in is brutal because you have 4 top 10 Ken Palm teams. UConn's probably the best team in the field, and you're going to have to play them in the Boston Garden, so that's going to be a home game for them. You have Illinois as well. They're another top 10 Ken Palm team, and then Iowa State, who's also top 5. It's as brutal of a draw as it gets.
Dude, if you're going to be Mr. Big Dick, though, you got to go around and, you
and
swing your sword.
And that's what they did in 2019. And we talked to Bruce a few minutes ago, and that's basically one of the first things he said. And you could kind of tell that he was not happy about Spokane, nor should he be. But one of the things he said was like, yeah, we had to do this in 2019 where we got sent out to Salt Lake City after winning the SEC, had to go through New Mexico State and then the 3 Blue Bloods.
Yeah. Now they're going to have to go through Auburn, the Blue Blood. That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, well, I guess it is what it is, bro. Got to face off against Yale and then maybe San Diego State, UAB, and then UConn and see what happens. I mean, that's how it goes.
So an interesting thing about Yale is first of all, they can shoot. I'm on their Synergy page right now. 92nd percentile catch and shoot, 94th unguarded catch and shoots. So, I mean, yeah, they're an Ivy League team. They can shoot. They have interesting thing about Yale is their best player is a legit 7-footer who averages 14 and 10. And then if you get past them, I'm thinking San Diego State is going to win. That's another team. They went to the Final Four last year, returned a lot of guys, very defensive-minded team.
Well, that's my backup team. You know that, right?
I did know that, actually.
San Diego State fan, but I'm not going to be in that game, that's for sure. Fuck 'em.
For sure.
Fuck them. All right, well, we need to get you back home as soon as possible and safely so we can talk about this on the rundown and break it all the way down, bro.
For sure. And I'm committed. I bought my plane ticket, so I'm there.
Okay. We will work with Staly to make sure you get on a credential list then.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, then.
All right.
I'll holler at you.
Yes, sir.
See you, bro.
See ya.
There he goes. Henri. I guess he's going to Spokane. I wasn't really planning on sending him myself. I mean, I'd love for him to go, but I wasn't going to pay for the whole thing. But if he's going to pay for it, okay. I can remember being his age and going to the I got to go to the Final Four because Kentucky was in there, 97 and 98. One was in Indianapolis, so that was an easy one. The other one was in San Antonio, which wasn't quite as easy, but you know how it goes. Anywho, we will be there. AuburnSports.com will definitely be there giving you full coverage from Spokane, for sure. Henry said Yale is pretty decent, good shooting team, 92nd percentile, in catch and shoot. And said they have a legit 7-footer who's pretty good. He's pretty good. But, at the same time, Auburn is, you got to go out there and you got to play the game. Hornatius says, take a shot, nerd. Quit sipping. Got MW Dave on the horn now. What's up, MW Dave? How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I know you tried to call in earlier, but I was just about to call Henri.
Oh, that's all right. That's all. Yeah. Jay, you're not going to pay for him to go to Spokane?
No. No, I'm not, because Stoltzy's my number one guy. Stoltzy and B-Mad already had a straw poll. And Stoltzy.
Oh, yeah, I'm just giving you shit.
Oh, okay. Word. Just trying to be practical.
Right, look, I'm glad the coaches and the players are pissed, but I'm not.
Yes, I'm not either. Tell me. Explain your position.
Because we are at our best when you put a chip on our shoulder.
Mm.
And we just won 6 games in a row, an SEC tournament. And we are where we want to be as far as peaking at the right time. We're clicking. A lot of guys are playing the best they've played all year, and we're going into the tournament with a mindset of we've been disrespected.
Yes, the Auburn ethos has always been better as an underdog.
Absolutely, especially in basketball, even more than football, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at the draw we got, I think both, the first set of those 4 teams in that first bracket, that's winnable. UConn and Boston, of course, that's a challenge, but that's when we step up to the plate. And Boston, hometown of Bruce Pearl, you make it out of there, you get to that Final Four, you're in the hometown of Charles Barkley. I mean, what could line up more intangibles for Auburn than being at the site where you won the 2010 national championship in football to play for a basketball natty?
Yeah, that's going to be old news, though. I mean, for me and you, it's not, but for these kids on the basketball team, it might be. I don't know.
But for Auburn fans, it's not.
Yeah, you're right.
But when you line up intangibles, weird things happen with Auburn, and that's, you know. But the biggest intangible you line up is the chip on the shoulder.
Yeah. I like it. I personally like it. It's March Madness, brother. It's time to put up or shut up. So I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah. If you can't beat these teams, you go home.
Yeah. And same for them.
67 of them are going to do that.
If UConn wants to step up and beat Auburn, then do it. And if not, you're going your ass home.
Then we'll pat them on the back, tell them good luck.
Well, maybe not Stephon, just because I'm still heartbroken that he left or went there instead of Auburn.
We can play UConn. I'm not worried about it. There's nobody watching these games this week. There's nobody we can't play.
I know. That's what I keep saying. Is
not that kind of
they don't want to fuck with Auburn either. Like, they don't want no part of this. No.
You got some people on the bunker that have already started that. Man, UConn's really pissed, which is kind of funny. But true.
Yeah, I don't know if they're pissed, but there's a lot of teams out there that want nothing to do with Auburn. I promise you that.
I would much rather have Alabama in my bracket than I would Auburn.
Dude, I'm looking at Clark Kellogg has UK in the Final Four. Get the fuck out of here, man. What is this?
Okay, to talk about the disrespect. UK, and I guess did Bama technically, were they the 16th draw or ahead of us?
I don't know the answer to that. I know they're in.
We don't know yet.
I mean, the number's been given, but I just didn't see it.
The fact that you had UK ahead of us, I mean, it does the tournament meaning nothing, but it's just, that's just stupid. Their record. We have a better regular season record. I'm not sure what the record is as far as when you break down against the quad ones and stuff like that. I mean, frankly, what hurt us was we didn't play as well against the quad one teams as we should have. We should have won more of those road games.
It's true.
But it was a tough conference this year.
Yeah, I know. And Big East only got 3.
We're finally shooting threes. Yeah.
Yeah, heated up a lot for sure. And Denver's been hot lately. Cheney's been really good. I mean, this team's really kind of trending up, man. Just saying.
Everything to me is clicking at the right time. It's, anything can happen when you get into a tournament game, so you can't project anything. But this is as good as I felt going into a tournament really ever, frankly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Heard you guys talking about earlier about, whether this team was better or the 2019 team better or who likes more better. I don't know that any team can replicate what the 2019 team did in that tournament, even without winning it. To go through 3 of the top 4 all-time programs in a row and beat all 3 of them. And it's not like any of the 3 of them were weak in 2019. They were all, top teams.
Yeah, it was an amazing run.
They just destroyed North Carolina. I mean, they set North Carolina into a coma for 3 years, basically.
Broke UK, too.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Danny Hurley. Nobody likes Bobby Hurley. Nobody likes any of the Hurleys. Fuck them all.
I don't like any Hurley.
Exactly.
But we'll, we can talk about when it's all said and done where this team ends up as far as how they compare. But as it stands right now, I'm not coming off saying 2019 is in a league of its own as far as the greatest ever, just because of what they did in the tournament.
All right.
Well, we all think they should have won it all. So
yeah, for sure. You got hosed on a double dribble. Period.
Well, either the double dribble or not a foul. I mean, either way you go.
Either way.
It was terrible, but I was there. Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna have plenty of chimes to chat this up because we got the Yale game on Friday and we got probably the San Diego State game on Sunday, I guess. So hopefully we'll be hearing from you then too.
Yeah, everybody get over the being pissed off. Let the team feel that. Let's go kick ass.
All right, brother. See you, man.
See you, man. War Eagle.
Bye. There he goes, MW Dave, who we love. Great guy on the board. Always rational, and love having him on the horn, too. I did say that I hate all Hurleys, and then Hornatius said I love Hurley from Lost. Well Dell said, I like him, too. He was always very relatable. Ravin had a super chat up here right before we got on the horn. He said, our boys are playing inspired. This team is ready to give it to anyone in our way. Just bring it. War Eagle. We're giving an applause for that one. I like the attitude. Thank you, Ravin, just for being a legend. at all times, really. Abby Laker also jumps in and says, pay me, and I'll go full John Cena and run on the court. Yeah, this is what they would probably say to you.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Yes, but I would like to see it. I love the flair, the panache. I said that Alexander Daddario would be the number 1 overall seed in the Hot Chick tournament. So Tigre says Elizabeth Hurley deserves that recognition, and I'm open to that. She's also extremely hot. Cassidy P says I'm about to go take a Hurley after the lunch I ate. Actually, I probably should have played this one right here.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Yeah. There we go. Runner 24 says, great draining this weekend in a super chat. Thank you for saying so. I think this is the highest concentration of brain drains we've ever done. Three days in a row, and then we'll be probably going back at it a bunch this weekend too. But Runner 24, thank you for jumping in with us and being part of the crew here all the time on the drains, football, basketball, and also on the board as well. So thank you, bro. Oh, Solo Tigre was saying no. He wasn't saying she was deserving of the number 1 seed, Elizabeth Hurley. He was just saying that's a Hurley that we don't hate. And well said, sir. Well said. Good eye. Good ears. Whatever it takes to make that insight. Because you're right. We definitely don't hate her. I love Cassidy P talking about taking a Hurley. That's pretty funny. I like that. Oh, we'll see. Courtney. I'm sorry. Maddie got her. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Looks like Maddie got home safely. That's good. All right. So I think the final analysis here is that Auburn got hosed a little bit. Not a great draw. It doesn't seem like the SEC tournament, Auburn's run through the SEC tournament mattered at all. It doesn't seem like Kentucky losing the first game mattered to them. Doesn't seem like Tennessee losing the first game mattered to them. And all in all, it just seemed like the bracket was made before that tournament even started. And all they've got to do, all the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee pays attention to are bid stealers. And when they come in and steal a bid like Long Beach State, then somebody, I guess, one of the hangers-on from a bigger conference just gets cut out, like a St. John's, and that's pretty much all they do. They just trim, nip, and tuck. That's it. Because I think it's disappointing, hugely disappointing. Feel Like a Stranger says, to be the best, you've got to beat the best. Woo! I like it. That's the right attitude, Feel Like a Stranger. Thank you for the super chat and for the support, as usual. And also the reminder that Ric Flair kicks ass. They ought to have Ric Flair at the Auburn game. Hornatius wants pokeable Hurley chicks to end the show, including Hurley from Lost and Elizabeth Hurley in a mashup. We could probably do that on social media. Do we have an intern that can do that, guys? No, not today. Okay, apparently. I don't know. They're not as... Yeah, let's see. AU Taxman says straight up laziness, like the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. They just, they sit down last week and kind of break it out and say, nah, let's not mess with this unless we have to. And they got their usual guys they're trying to put into a bad situation, like Bruce. And I guarantee Rick Pitino gets that treatment too. Had he gotten in, had his St. John's Red Storm gotten in. So, it's just kind of usual. Business as usual, as the kids say. Purdue, Houston, North Carolina, and UConn get the number 1 seeds, which I'm fine with. Again, Houston loses by 25 in their conference final. Nobody cares. They still get their number 1. All that kind of stuff. So that's the way it goes. So we'll be doing practice. They'll be doing some stuff tomorrow, I imagine. Well, tomorrow, they might take off tomorrow, actually, now that I think about it. But they'll probably go Tuesday, probably do a short thing Wednesday before they travel to Spokane. And we'll be definitely keeping up with them and seeing what they're doing at practice and stuff. Still got spring football going on this week. Yeah, so plenty of stuff to be talking about. And we'll probably, I guess we'll wrap it up there. We did almost 3 hours earlier for the tournament, the championship game against Florida. And then I just said we were going to take a short break and get over here to the bracket, which we have done. Talked about Yale, talked about San Diego State, talked about UAB. and essentially mostly complained about the shitty seating situation for Auburn, although MWD, even I tend to agree with him, which says that you just kind of have to bow up this time of year. We'll try to get those times to you on Tuesday, I guess, is when they'll probably break that out. But it's going to be on Friday. And the fact that it's on the West Coast gives me pause and makes me think it could be kind of late. So I don't know. It really could be anything, though, honestly. But if I had to guess, I think it would be late. San Diego State, UAB, and then Auburn's got to play the winner. Or Auburn's got to beat Yale and then to play the winner of that game. So it could be fun. And now ESPN's going to give us a montage of great UConn highlights. We don't care. Fuck them. Also, AU Taxman says Samford drawing an injured Kansas is awesome. We're all going to be pulling for Samford, brother. I promise you that. Bucky's going to go over there and beat that ass. That'd be awesome. MWD says would travel as early in the week as possible. Games will probably be late. So, yeah. And Frank definitely says after 2 p.m. tip-off. There's no doubt about it, just because they're on the West Coast. So, I like these mid-afternoon games, but I'll take whatever I can get, honestly. You just go out there and win games. So, we'll wrap it up there, guys. I will check you guys for sure. I guess the next time I'm going to be on the air is going to be Thursday night for the Bourbon Show, which I do with my wife over there on the Bourbon Blend. You got to check that out on the YouTubes on Bourbon Blend. But those of you who are the legends, the Dirty Dozens, you guys will be there for sure Thursday. And then Friday, whatever time the game is, we'll be doing the full game plus post game here on the Brain Drain channel. So I thank you guys for being with me all day today. And we will see you guys before too long. Check us out at auburnsports.com. Where you can get all your reaction and chatter about the basketball. And then B-Matt has been busting his ass. Caleb, too, on recruiting, baseball. Softball salvaged the series today. Lost 2 yesterday and won 1 today, so at least they didn't get blown out at home the whole way through. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys before too long. Until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Let's make great decisions. Peace.